What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and here we are again for more of just a sit back and relax kind of live stream, answering some questions or comments. We'll talk about what's been going on the last week in gaming. We got some Stellar Blade stuff going on. We got rumors of an Xbox show. I actually wrote a couple topics down over to my my right, and it'll hopefully keep me on track as we go about this. And then, of course, this morning, the Deck 9 fiasco. Now, like I said in a tweet that I posted, I do want to talk about we're for sure going to do a video on the Deck 9 stuff. Life is Strange kind of confirmed through it. The Wolf Among Us 2 is still happening through it. They were going to make a Walking Dead game confirmed through it, and then it got pulled from them. So, and then also the drama of just what the heck in God's name has been going on there. So quite a few things, that happened with Deck 9 and Life is Strange. And so I wrote some stuff down. We have a Star Wars Outlaws, of course, the story trailer that premieres this upcoming Tuesday. That is exciting. We'll do a video on that probably later in the day, maybe like 3, 4, 5 hours later. But, we'll look at it. By the way, to throw that out there, that screams to me like summer, or maybe even early. I don't know about June, right? Because like you have the Ubisoft Forward event June 10th or whatever it is, or June 9th. So I don't think Outlaws would come out like before that, but I think sometime maybe in July or probably August. August is the game releasing month, so probably in August, you would get something for Star Wars Outlaws. So we'll cover that, and I think that'll be an exciting game. On Podcast Now Plus yesterday, I was talking about the games that are still to come, and Ubisoft, ironically, actually has quite a few. Well, two, right? Assassin's Creed and then Star Wars Outlaws. But both could be very, very big, and both of them are probably two of the top 5 or so, games going forward. Probably like after June, you think of Star Wars, think of Assassin's Creed, you might think of Silent Hill, you might think of Avowed, you might think of Dragon Age. Would that maybe be the top 5 perhaps? And Ubisoft would have 2 of those 5, maybe like Indiana Jones, right? What else? Yeah, the Xbox rumors. So that was actually, no, you know what? Xbox, let me look at my calendar. The rumor is Xbox is June 9th. So that's the Sunday. And then Ubisoft is June 10th. So kind of back to back days. I don't love that, by the way. I think Summer Game Fest is the Friday, June 7th. So I do like that. But the Sunday, Monday, it's going to be a little odd. I won't be able to live stream them, but I will do my best to cover them at least like during that week. We'll do videos on it. But so that's the rumor for Xbox is June 9th, which is the Sunday. And I think Indiana Jones was one of them, right? That would get a release date. Gears of War would get a showing, but not a release date. So that's exciting. That's a big one. Let me see what else I kind of wrote down. Life is Strange, Star Wars Outlaws, Xbox rumors, Stellar Blade. The small Stellar Blade stuff I want to. Well, of course, there's excitement, right? Like I'm pretty pumped for Stellar Blade, but one additional thing I guess with Stellar Blade is the New Game Plus thing. I like when people talk about Stellar Blade because you see like all these YouTube channels and videos appearing of. Did you see like interviews said this or said that? They're from like weeks, if not months ago. People are kind of like diving back in. So New Game Plus Stellar Blade will have, but it'll just be added later. Okay. Which I kind of want to go on a rant on this just for like 2.5 seconds. Why can't we have New Game Pluses come out when the game releases? I just don't understand it. Personally, I think, we had Spider-Man, that whole fiasco. God of War's done it as well. I just don't know why New Game Plus has to be something that doesn't come out the day the game comes out. Why you have to wait on it to come out afterwards. I don't know. I'm more old school. I can't show it to you because it's too far. It's out of my reach. I just got a manual for Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. I have the game. I have the case, but I don't have the manual for it. That took like 2.5 weeks to get to me because I think it was lost in the mail. But the point is, I am a little bit more old school. I would prefer that the game comes out in its final states. But, whatever. Like Stellar Blade, I think that could be a pretty fun game going through it a second time with all of your stuff carrying over, considering, and we've talked about it before, right, with Stellar Blade, the way you play in the beginning is going to be pretty different from the way you play at the end. As you get the abilities and just, I guess really just the abilities, right? They said that in interviews, like the way you play the game in the beginning is going to be pretty different than how you experience the game at the end of the game because you're going to have so many abilities, which I do think the demo kind of showed us as well that the boss challenge, you have more in your arsenal than you do at the beginning, and you do play that boss fight pretty darn different than any of the enemies or the boss fight in the beginning of the game. Sir Access, what's going on? What's going on? Good to see you. Well, I'm gonna look through my book here. Honestly, well, you know what? Maybe I'll look through my channel. It's been kind of I feel like a lot of stuff happened today. Maybe I'll go on Twitter if we see anything that's happened on Twitter recently. Well, there's the Suicide Squad. You know, there was some Suicide Squad drama. I did a video, and the video will go up tomorrow, I think, where I do talk about that. And I'm just looking at Twitter here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, the Deck 9 stuff is definitely like a situation. That's some of the tweets that I'm seeing here. Suicide Squad. Did I miss something today? Because there's a lot of not really fighting, but more or less complaining, I think I see on social media. Oh, okay. I do see some Suicide Squad stuff that I think would make WB pretty upset. I think I understand why people are so up in arms about it. I hope the game is like Nier Automata. It gives a lot of the same vibes. Yeah. And that's Nier is a game. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it before Stellar Blade comes out. But for Back to the Past, Nier is definitely a game that I want to play. What's going on? Welcome in. Can't wait for Stellar Blade. Yeah, I mean, you know, I said this on Podcast Now Plus yesterday. I did a video about like, you know, the year kind of slowing down and like letting us breathe after the 5,000 RPGs that came out in the beginning of the year. But it really does start to calm down. And I mean, in a way, it puts, I think, a little bit more pressure on Stellar Blade because for myself personally, and maybe we can do this like live right here. I tend to go on the Wikipedia page for the games releasing. I mean, for April, for me, it's pretty much just Stellar Blade. And that does put a little bit of pressure on it, but it lets it like breathe. It lets me breathe right now, or like you can handle other games, and then Stellar Blade, you know, comes out at the end of the month. There's that Tales of Zenzera. Tales of Zenzera. Yeah, that was the one that was shown. I think Jeff Keighley showed it off at some point. That does look pretty cool. Another roguelike game. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. But yeah, generally, I'm looking at it right now. Like Demons, Demon Slayer board game comes out on the Nintendo Switch. That's weird. There's Sandland, but I mean, I think people got to play the demo and they weren't thrilled with it, which is fine. You know, it's whatever. And that comes out the same day, April 26th, and then Stellar Blade comes out April 26th. So, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Stellar Blade is the game for April. May has like V Rising, Biomutant again for like the 19th time that game's released. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. That's kind of a big deal. And then Hellblade, May 21st. After that, Dragon Ball Xeno, or Multiverses, I guess, right? May 28th. So you got those. June, it picks up a little, and then it kind of dies off again. So hopefully Star Wars Outlaws can inject it with a little bit. Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. When's that? See, sometimes, is that the 16th? I want to say it's the 16th. Sometimes you got to go on Game Informer. Sometimes Wikipedia. Sometimes Wikipedia isn't the greatest place to go on. Let's see if we can maybe do this. I'll do it live in front of you guys. Let's look at it together. Let's see. I haven't done it on whatever this thing is called in a while. Okay. Yeah, I think actually Game Informer is a little bit better in terms of the release schedule. So we go to April, and we got. Let's see. Do they have it? Yeah, they do. Oh, April 18th. I said 16th. I was so close. Final Fantasy 16. You know, I haven't played the first one yet, but I heard good things, and I see good things for this one. I think it's gonna have to wait for me. Maybe I'll have to wait till like the summer. But what else? Demon Slayer again, Sandland, Top Spin, of course. That's making its return. Braid. Oh, that's an interesting one. I didn't know that. Oh, and then Sea of Thieves, I guess on PS5. That's a big one. And then I don't know. Homeworld, like that's a recognizable name. Ghost of Tsushima, Hellblade, System Shock. Um, oh, Paper Mario, that's kind of a big one. Multiverses. Yeah, I don't know. June's a little bit bigger, right? Destiny, Killer Clowns, of course, Elden Ring, and Shin Megami. I think I'd say that's like a pretty good, and even like Luigi's Mansion. This game is because it's on Switch, it's going to sell like 7 million units. Yeah, yeah. So I still think we're going to need a couple games, to swoop in to kind of. It's not lacking quality; it's lacking quantity, which is fine. Again, like I'm honestly okay with that. I got some backlog stuff. I went through my schedule of even like older games I want to play. Who have you guys played? This is just kind of a hangout, back and forth thing. Let me know in the chat. I'm playing through right now that Immortals of Avium. Gotta be honest, I really like it. I'm on chapter 5, and I think the game is like legitimately good. Now, is it good because it's free, or is it good because like if I paid $70 for it, would it still be good? I really like it. Like I heard bad things about the characters, like some of the dialogue. There's been some questionable things with Jack, but like overall, I actually even like him. I think he's actually a pretty okay character so far. So if the game stays at the quality that it's at right now, I'm willing to say like I massively slept on this game. Now again, $70 versus free. It's maybe an elite free game, but was it worth $70? But I really like it. I'm enjoying myself. So I hope to beat that, and that's going to be the next video on Back to the Past, my retrospective channel. Be Immortals of Avium. I want to go back to Mega Man 2. I'm going to play Crackdown 1. I've played the Crackdown games, but I don't, God knows when's the last time I did it. Finally got to go through Hellblade, and then May is kind of all over the place. I'm doing something very special in May on my third channel that I'll announce eventually, and it's going to be tied. No, I don't want to spoil it. There's a very special game that we're going to tie it to, so that's going to kind of be fun. But I'm going to cover like Watch Dogs 1 in May. There's some fun stuff. So I mean, my point is, even as the new games start to diminish or like there's not as many of them, fine by me. I actually still haven't beaten Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I have no interest to go back to Skull and Bones, but that does exist. I think I've beaten Rise of the Ronin. I'm still not done with, but I can probably beat that. Yeah, there's not actually that many in terms of like official backlog games that like I started and then like have not gone back to yet. Say this year, not many, almost none actually. But there's old games, and I still need to clean up. I never played Super Mario Wonder, which I really want to, and I never played RoboCop, and I really want to play that too. So there's a couple holdover 2023 games and Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3. I put in like 10 hours or whatever it is into Baldur's Gate. So yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay. Let's see. I know I just went on a tangent. Of course, I mean for these kind of hangout streams, it's viewers' choice. Whatever you guys want to talk about, if it's movies, if it's pop culture, if it's games, you let me know in the chat and we'll kind of go off. But I greatly appreciate you guys being here. We can talk Stellar Blade, PlayStation, Xbox, movies. I'm a little not as versed in movies as I am everything else, but want to do more instead of blocking. Stellar Blade disappointed me kind of, but still looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, like I played it and I played Rise of the Ronin right after, and Stellar Blade's a little heavier, but I honestly liked it. I think the dodging is something that like is going to take me some time to like figure out, but I personally liked pairing. I like perfect pairing in pretty much any game that allows me to. Detective Cobra, what's going on, buddy? Same. Yeah, I think the trailer could be. I was watching. We've talked about Outlaws a few times in some videos the last couple of days, so I got to like rewatch the world premiere trailer. Like the game looks good. Game looks good. So I hope they reel it in and nail it. Nice. Final Fantasy. Yeah, I like 16. I like 16. I did feel I've said everything there is to say for what I feel. I've said everything there is for 16. I really like that game. I will say, and I don't know if you consider it like a criticism, but like when I was done with it, I felt done. I felt completed. There was not a massive interest to jump back in. So hence, I didn't do the first DLC. I didn't do the second DLC. I think the first. Oh man, you guys will have to. When did the first DLC come out? I remember it coming out, and I remember. Did I travel? I feel like I was doing something really weird when the first DLC came out, and I couldn't do it because of like timing. But there is like a sense to me where it's like I don't really need the two DLCs. I appreciate them; they're fine, and maybe eventually I'll play them. But I really like that game. It's just I don't know if you and I preferred Rebirth more, where it's like if you did a DLC for Rebirth, like I think I'd be there faster. I'd be there for 16, but I really liked it. Saga Emerald Beyond, if that game interests you. Well, let me look. Oh, is that's a game coming out? Let me look it up. Ooh, Square Enix another role playing game. That's okay. I like role playing games. When does this come out? Ooh, it looks a little Danganronpa ish. What is this game? I don't think I've ever seen this. You can buy it on Steam. Oh, it's not out yet, right? No, April 25th, 2024. Oh, yeah, I'll have to pay attention to it. I like if anything, if nothing else, that's the phrase. If nothing else, I'm sold on the visuals. But I'm looking at the combat. I'll keep an eye on it. You know what? I will keep an eye on it. Yeah. Well, thank you for saying it. I do think the PlayStation thing is. I think we're in that phase now, right? Where all of it's leaking, right? So like we know there's a Sony one in probably late May. We know the Xbox one is most likely now June 9th. Ubisoft is 10th. Summer Game Fest is the 7th or the 8th. Nope, 7th. I'm going just off memory as usual. So yeah, it's filling in. You know what I mean? So I think it's all gonna happen. I think, yeah. See, well, what's interesting. So late Memorial Day is the 27th, right? It's the Monday. Memorial Day is the Monday. So I think it'll either be the 23rd, which would be really disappointing, by the way, if they do the 23rd. For like personal reasons. 23rd or 28 or 30. I think maybe 28 or 30 it'll be the last week of May. Because then, you give it a week and then you got Summer Game Fest, you give it 2 days, you got Xbox, Ubisoft. EA has to do something. Now, they could do it all through Summer Game Fest, but EA has, they're doing Dragon Age this summer. So either they do their own event, which, if you do your own events, are you going to do it just to show Dragon Age? Maybe, but you probably would do it through Summer Game Fest. So we'll just see how that goes. I played it, really like it. Short, though. By the end of the game, once you get the flow of all the spells. Yeah. Honestly, no, I feel that early on. As soon as they give you all like blue, red, and green, right? As soon as they give you all three, I was kind of like messing with them on the fly, shooting. Like it immediately felt good. And I've seen like the upgrade tree. I've upgraded a few times, so it's like, yeah, I think so. Special. No, you know what? I should have worked. Sly is the most special game to me, but I will be flat out honest. It's not actually Sly Cooper. To throw a wrench into that plan. Yeah. No, it's I can tell you it's a big anniversary for a big game and a big franchise in May. And it's gonna be tied to that. But yeah, no, I mean you so know me, Sir Axis. You so know me. No, we're eventually gonna do Sly. Like it's eventually gonna happen and it's gonna be glorious. You know what? I don't think I've ever beaten Watch Dogs 1. To be honest with you. Now I look back at it nicer than when it came out. I mean, I honestly kind of despised it. And we're going to talk I think the Watch Dogs video, there's a couple, like May is going to have maybe some of the best videos I've made. I got to be real on Back to the Past. I'm looking at it. The game I'm hiding, I think is going to be a really special one. Watch Dogs, I think is going to be really special. I'm probably going to do like Budokai 2 in May as well. And maybe one or two others. The Watch Dogs video, I think, is going to be really special because you got a lot to talk about, right? You got the lying phase of when that trailer at E3 was something magical, and it's still magical to this day. It's an incredible gameplay presentation, and how I felt going into it. And I remember the midnight launch. I mean, there's a lot of stories to tell for Watch Dogs, and the game was just so disappointing. Now I look back at it better now than I did back then, but man, oh man, and I never beat it. And I played Watch Dogs 2, and I really liked 2. I actually liked 2. Well, at the time, I liked 2 more than 1. I don't know how I'd feel about it now. All 3 Watch Dogs games, I feel like my opinion has changed. Because Watch Dogs 1, I hated it originally. And then maybe now I like, but I'm not 100% sold on that. Like, I'll replay it to know. Watch Dogs 2, I really liked at the time, but I've rewatched the story and characters, and they're pretty cringe. And then Watch Dogs Legion, I kind of liked, but I didn't love it. I didn't hate it when it first came out. I kind of liked it. And now I feel like it's just become like nothing, like it never existed. It was the most fine game of all time. You know what I mean? Just this game that doesn't matter. So all 3 Watch Dogs games I feel like have evolved, in my head. And not every game does that. So I don't know. I'm excited to go through. I want to do all 3, but definitely Watch Dogs 1 first because of it turns 10 years old. 10 years old in May. I ended up being nice. Yeah, the graphics. Yeah. And and I'm not a big graphics guy. I'm not a big graphics. Well, okay, that's not true. It's the way I'm wording it is not true. So I do love graphics, right? Like if you show me a ultra realistic game, I'm bound to say, "Oh man, like that's good." I like cell shaded stuff. I like all sorts of different graphical genres or like art styles, but they don't mean the world to me, I guess, where I will forgive a game if it doesn't have good visuals, as long as the other things come through. You can absolutely notice it in Ronin. But there are, like I said I think I recognize your face. I'm glad you're here. 'Cause I think you commented on the impressions video I did. There's times of beauty. There's times when you're walking through the field or galloping on your horse, and Rise of the Ronin does look good. I think it's more of like the open field kind of vibe to it, where it does kind of shine. But if you spend too much time really looking at anything, then yeah, I mean the game looks not good. It doesn't look like it came out even in the last 7-8 years, which is pretty disappointing. But does it feel good? Yeah, it actually feels elite. I really like how it feels, how responsive, and the different tactics you can use with fighting. I think it makes up for the graphics with its main thing, which was the gameplay, right? But yeah, the visuals have got to, I think, improve. Do you think we'll see Wolverine in the next Naughty Dog game? Wolverine, I think, is a yes. Naughty Dog, oh, that's a good one. That's a good question. I don't think we would see part 3 for Last of Us. Maybe that new IP. I would honestly, my gut would say no. My gut would say no for Naughty Dog at all. But I think Wolverine, honestly, is really good. I did. Check out Back to the Past. I made a whole video, 20 so minutes, where I went through the whole game. So Back to the Past, just podcast now. Back to the Past, Sea of Stars. You should find it. I really liked it. I felt, you can let me know, Sir Axis, what you think in the chat. I felt it should have been a little darker. I think there were moments where they really could have. I mean, they did kind of pull at the heartstrings at a few different occasions, but I felt there was and maybe that's like my own dark mind. I felt there was a couple times in Sea of Stars where they could have taken it up a level with some of the choices or consequences, made it dark, and they didn't do it. So that was a little disappointing. But overall, I mean, the combat in that game is freaking elite. The story in that game is so good. The characters are so good. The music in Sea of Stars is one of, if not the best soundtracks of last year. So it is an incredible game I'd recommend to anybody. Well, not anybody, because it is a specific type of game, and I can see people not liking it. But I personally loved it. I just felt, they had a chance to do something that they didn't do. I don't think there's a game after Stellar Blade that I would want to accept. Yep, Black Myth. Yeah, that's the one. Black Myth. Yep, in August. Yeah, that's they got to start filling it in, right? You got to get Star Wars Outlaws. You got to get Silent Hill, Dragon Age. There's always hope for Wolf Among Us. Like that would obviously help. There's games, that haven't been announced yet that might still come out this year. Now, I don't think there'd be many of them. You know what I mean? Games that are literally off anybody's radar. They don't exist yet. They get announced. Will they come out this year? The odds are no, right? The odds are you announce your game and then it releases 2-3 years away at least. But there might be a couple. There might be like 2 to 5 games that either Xbox shows, PlayStation shows, Nintendo shows, EA, Ubisoft. EA and Ubisoft, they don't really buy, to be honest with you, though. But there's a couple that could pop up and say, "Hey, it's coming out in October." You know what I mean? So, Final Fantasy 16, my favorite Final Fantasy game ever. Yeah, I'm not the one to ask for that one, right? I respect that. I respect that. I haven't played. I've played. I've said before. I played a little of 15. I've played 16. I played 7 Remake, 7 Rebirth. I know all about 7, but I've said this before. I've never actually played, Final Fantasy 7. I'm going to this year, but I haven't done it. Never played 1 through 6. Never played 8 on. Lightning's game. I have all the Lightning games over there physically, and actually one of them, maybe part 3, I have on 360 and on PS3 because I just freaking love the. Well, no, it was by accident. It's not because I love the cover art, although I do. So yeah, I respect that. So once I dedicate the next 700 hours of my life to play all the Final Fantasy games, then I'll do a proper. I feel like I would be pretty good at ranking all the games. People have enjoyed my Rebirth videos quite a lot, so I think I'd have like some sort of respect, for what I say. But there should be no respect for what I say right now because I just haven't played enough of them. Too many hours. I can't do it all. I did all the Yakuza games though, so I guess I probably could. The first DLC for 16 is nothing special. The next one adds a lot more. Yeah. 16 or the 16 part 2 or the second DLC. That's like the big one. Yeah. I'm losing it too, although we know it's still happening. So it's still being made. So there's always hope. There's a demo. Okay. Well, let me write it down. A demo is always good. I'll write it down and I will try it. As soon as I beat Avium, I gotta beat Immortals of Avium first. But after I beat that, yeah, I think I would try it. I like the visual style quite a bit. It reminded me a lot of like Danganronpa or Master Detective Archives. Again, that cell shading kind of thing. Kingdom Hearts fans are hungry. We will be fed. Yeah, I think the PlayStation Showcase this year will be better than last year. Ooh. My hope for it is kind of falling apart after last year. So my gut would say, well, no, my gut would maybe actually say yes. It maybe would say yes. I'm curious about where they go to Mario after 3. Yeah, they're so remember when they talked about the new Tomb Raider game? Yeah, they talked about it as a blend. Well, they talked about it as a blend of old and new. I know some people have said they think that they actually meant the remaster and not the new game. I don't think so, though. I think they've talked the head of I don't know if it was Crystal Dynamics or not, but somebody at some point talked about the new Tomb Raider game and said it was going to kind of be a blend of what you thought of it back, 30 years ago, and the new trilogy, kind of like a mix of it. So I think that Laura is done. Laura. I think that one's done. Like Camila Luddington, who I think did a really good job. I think she did a really good job, but I think she'll be gone. I think there'll be a whole new Laura Croft. Laura. Which one is it? Why can't I do it? Normally, Lara Croft. I think I normally say Lara. Lara Croft. Yeah. Project 007. Yeah. There's a game I always number one, I always forget about that game in particular. And then number two, number two, I tend to not think of the Hitman games as much as I should because the Hitman games were elite. Watch Dogs Legion. I remember, Philip, you being around. I don't know if that was maybe around the time that you started watching the channel. But I remember seeing your comments around Watch Dogs Legion. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I decently liked it when it came out, but I just didn't play it too much, It has real good combat. No, I like it. I think Rise of the Ronin is a good game. I don't think it's an elite game. I think the combat might actually be something special, but it's very rough around the edges. It is a little repetitive. It feels like a knockoff Ghost of Tsushima at times, like praying at the altar. It's like we've seen this before, but it doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make it bad. It makes it just something that's kind of familiar. You know what I mean? I think it is a good game that, it's $70 and that can, you can price that to, what am I trying to say? That could be overpriced, for some people. They might not be into that, but I I liked it. Now, I should say this. Granted, they gave me a code. Okay, I don't even know if legally I have to say that. They did give me a code, so all my opinions are based off of being free. But no, I do think it's a really solid game. Ooh, what about does WB mean what about, by the way? Because I'm too old for that. I think we could see Corey's game. It's been in the works for like ever. I honestly think so. I think we could see that before God of War. Juan, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day and a good week. Anybody seen any movies? I haven't watched the Godzilla one. My wife wants to, but I haven't done it yet. I want to see that Abigail with Melissa Barrera next week, but is it next week or is it 2 weeks from now? Might be 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks from now, but it's too scary. I'm not. I'm such a baby. I can't handle the gore, so I'll wait till it's stream. I'll watch it as soon as it's at home. You know what I mean? As soon as it's home. It was perfectly balanced. I love the games getting so dark these days. I got enough of it. Oh, for Sea of Stars. I understand that. I can get that. I think there was dark moments. It just I felt it could go. I don't know, like the story. I don't want to spoil it. Like there was just moments where I felt, ooh, you have a chance to go a little bit more dark, and then they kind of let up on it. But I think, like I said, the strengths of that game is so freaking good. I liked the 16's demo more than the complete game. Still liked it, but overall wasn't as good as the others I've played. I think the side stuff really holds it back because I think when it's firing with the Game of Thrones like narrative and atmosphere and setting and whatnot, I think it's elite. The boss battles, fights, whatever in 16 are some of the best that I've ever played. They're just so big, They reminded me of God of War 3, which defined me when I was 14 years ago. My age now. I was 13 when God of War 3 came out. Is that right? I think I was, yeah. No, how could I have been 13? No, I was 14. I don't know. I don't know. I know how old I am right now, but I can't figure out what happened back then. I got my PS3 because I'm going to do a video. I'll spoil this. In June will always be, June's my birthday, right at the end of June. But in terms of the Back to the Past stuff and the retrospective, I think it's powerful because, number one, it's actually the 15-year anniversary of Prototype. And you can mark that down in your calendar that Alex will be doing the video of his life on Prototype this June. It's going to be epic. But I also want to talk about when I got my PS3, which was also 15 years ago. So 15 years ago. Oh, okay. So I got my PS3 in 2009 when I was 12, turning 13. And then God of War came out the year after when I was 13, about to be 14. So that's actually what happened. So God of War 3 defined me as a 13, almost 14-year-old. Prototype and the PS3 defined me when I was 12, turning 13. And eventually Infamous. But yeah. I love going down memory lane. If you can't tell. I can't just shut up about the past. I think Spider-Man 2. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good possibility. I think you're going to get something Spider-Man. Something Spider-Man. We'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean? Oh, man. You know me. Do I think? I've studied what Sucker Punch has said at every turn, right? Whenever they mention Infamous or Sly Cooper, I'm right there. I think there is an okayness with them that they would do a Sly Cooper game, like if all the chips fell in the right place. That would be my understanding of kind of just how they've talked. Will they ever do it? I highly doubt it. But there are still some people that were there with Sly that are there now. Infamous is a bigger franchise than Sly and more recent. And I don't know, and I've said it before, if you can have Sucker Punch be doing Ghost and Infamous at the same time, I think that'd be legendary, Don't force it, but, if that could happen, I think that'd be excellent. So I personally believe that Infamous will return. I think Infamous could come back. Sly, you're going to need that remaster. You're going to need that collection. You know what I mean? Infamous, I think, could legitimately get a new game at any point, and it would sell. Sly, well, obviously it has to be good, but Sly, I think, would need the collection. So that's a little rough because I'm honestly on the Sly side of things. I meant to put should. Oh, it's okay. different experiences watching these live streams on your phone versus the thing versus a computer. Any chance of a new Uncharted? I'm always, I'm always banging the drum that I think Uncharted is coming back. So perhaps. I have not. I have not. I have not. I'll be honest. So I'm always honest, but that's just a saying because I say the same things over and over again. No, when all these games were coming out, it was honestly becoming like too much. Like I won't get too much into the personal stuff, but it's not just these channels that I do. I do other stuff, so it became a little too much. I got South Park early, right? So I was like, okay, I got to get through South because it was a game I covered quite a bit, and I wanted to see how it was going to go. So I did South Park. I got Rise of the Ronin. I did that. Basically, I just kind of went with the games that were given to me as codes. And I was still finishing up Final Fantasy as of maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I was still playing it. So when I was done with Final Fantasy, I literally right after I went right into South Park and then right into Rise of the Ronin. And then now is more dead time. And I guess I'm using my dead time now for Immortals of Avium and some older games and then eventually Stellar Blade. So I actually skipped. For right now, I skipped Dragon's Dogma, but I'm a big fan of the first game. I love it. I love the first game. So I think kind of naturally I've skipped it, but I still want to play it. So I might wait, maybe a few months, see if I can get it on sale, 10, 20 bucks off. And I will play it before the end of this year. This is one of those games that I will absolutely play and get my hands on before, December when I do my my own Game of the Year awards. Dragon's Dogma hopefully will be out. But I mean, I've seen just the most amazing things on just how that game works and the AI and the systems and all that stuff. I mean, I'm very happy that it's doing so well. So I did skip it, but I'm absolutely going to play it. Maybe in the summer. Maybe in the summer. Or because it, again, is not really all that packed, maybe even going into the fall, could wait September, October, November. But I'm playing it before Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, one of them. Oh, Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights. Whoops. I remember you being around. Well, maybe no. Am I making that up then? When did Watch Dogs come out? When did Legion even release? 2021? Maybe? Or was it 2020? Was it in the fall of 2020? It could have been, wasn't it? Oh, that year. That year is just so messy to me. And no worries. No worries. People got lives. People go in and out. I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you stop by and leave, that's fine. I appreciate, if you watch a video. And I think I have a lot of silent viewers too, right? Like, you'll leave likes and stuff, but I think there's a lot of people that'll just watch the content. They don't leave, which I don't do. I don't really leave likes on things. I don't leave comments almost ever. So I think a lot of the people that watch me are like that too, which I'm totally understanding of. Like, I get that. PS5 showcase. Okay, here we go. Horizon Zero Dawn. That's a good one. Gravity Rush 2. Yep. Marathon. I would say. Venom, Concord, God of War Trilogy. Ooh, man. Fair Games, Money Symbol. Horizon 3. Astrobot. Honestly, okay, so Horizon Zero Dawn's thing I think is going to happen. Gravity Rush 2 is already leaked. I think that's going to happen. Marathon, Concord. Venom, I would say something Spider-Man related, right? So I would agree with that to an extent. God of War Trilogy. There's the rumors of God of War 1, so maybe something God of War. The Money Symbol game, I don't care about, but that would probably be there. Horizon 3, it hasn't been that long. That's maybe where I would start to say, because Horizon 2, Astrobot, that'll be there. Sly, of course, I'd love. SOCOM. Ben Studios' new IP is probably a good one. Santa Monica. And then Housemarque new IP. You forgot Blue Point. No, but I think probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think you gave 14 things. I bet you're right on at least 8 of them. I think that's a great list. That's a great list. I'm going to steal that if you don't mind. And no, I mean, I got my own ideas, but I'll do a predictions video, as we get closer. Oh, Judas, of course. That's next year. That's next year, but that game is going to be so freaking good. Bloodborne 2, no. Ghost of Tsushima 2, yes. I hope there's a surprise AAA this fall. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a couple. That's a good point. MK1. That's a good point. There could be 1 or 2, like I said. Dark Sector. I feel like I rented it. Is it a picture? Oh man, I'm picturing an artwork for it. Now let me see if it's the one that I think it is. Yep. Okay. I'll show you this. I'll show you this. This is funny. So when you said, how do I freaking when you said dark sector, I thought of a guy holding like a blade. I saw this in my head. And so then I just typed it in. And I was like, okay, as long as it's this in my head. So I've played it, but I rented it. That was during my renting. I remember distinct. I mean, that's actually hilarious. You bring that up. Is that even a good game, Juan? Because I remember it being looked at as like so okay. And I remember going to Family Video and I remember seeing it and it was never rented out. Like it was always there. And I do remember I got it once and I don't think I liked it. I don't remember liking it. Who was it made by? Digital Extremes. Are they even still around? Soul Frame. So they're kind of around. What did this game get score-wise? That's funny you bring that up. 73, 73, 65. Okay, so it's a maybe you really liked it. You know, I would absolutely consider playing this. Yeah. What a blast from the past that is. That's hilarious. I remember thinking it was fine. And I remember it always being available to rent. I remember that artwork, and that's all I remember of the game. That's funny you bring that up. And I cannot believe I remembered the artwork. Man, see, my memory's pretty okay. And maybe not in like 10, 15 years, but it's good. It's really good now. 20 first party games? I think it could. Didn't last year have like 23? I think I wrote them down last year. It had quite a few, but they weren't good. They weren't good, but there were quite a bit of them last year. Chef B Gaming, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, Sonic. You know, there's been so many rumors about the Sonic stuff that I've honestly, and you know, I haven't played almost like any Sonic game. That's another franchise that I really like. Sonic Unleashed, is that the one with him with the werewolf? As a werewolf or whatever. Sonic is a game franchise that I just have never really. If you watched, remember when I tried to get into Frontiers and I bought the game. I have it physically actually. I only have like 10 PS5 games physically, and Sonic is one of them. I just can't get into it. And I also generally can't get into Sonic games. I love Sonic and I love the movies and I can respect the games. I remember playing them like on the Wii, but I don't know. Sonic's a franchise I've never been able to really appreciate like as much as I should. So there's all the rumors that come out of like I don't even know what it is, Sonic Heroes. If that's I don't know if that's the actual subtitle, but I read the rumor and there's not much I can contribute to it because it's like I'm just so unqualified, not qualified, whatever it is. Madden, COD, yeah. Well, you have NHL. You know, you do have all the sports games. You have Madden, NHL, FIFA, COD, Assassin's Creed stuff. I mean, you can start to build out a little bit, but yeah, that's hilarious. What happened to Rayman? They made okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the team who made Rayman make Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown? I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Don't know that 100%, but I thought I remember seeing that. There's my memory to the test thing. Yeah. Please predict the future. I love to. Oh boy. Okay, I think Chris will be the protagonist, and I think it'll come out next year. That's what I think. Next year, it'll be announced this year. It'll come out next year, and it'll be Chris as the protagonist. You want to write that down? That's what I believe that. The Venom standalone game. The issue with the Venom standalone game is because of that leak, right? And it seems like it's moved around. So like at some point, maybe it was supposed to come out next year, but then maybe it was supposed to be the year after. And then Wolverine's year has also shifted. You know what I mean? So that's why I say something Spider-Man or something Spider-Verse like one of those things. Because, you know what I mean? Venom might come first and then Wolverine, or Wolverine might come first and then Venom, but we really don't know. So I think something Spider-Man related, which could be Venom, right? But something Spider-Man related. But I do think Venom is happening. Crimson Desert. And didn't that game get delayed? Remember yeah. And you sold me on it. And I watched the video, and didn't they show new stuff too? And, you know, I made the video and I covered it, and I loved how it looked, and they freaking delayed it. So yeah, I'm sorry. I feel your pain because I'm into Sly Cooper amongst other things, WB games, DC games. So I know how you feel. You're gonna have to wait, you know, another maybe 2 years. But I'll be here. I mean, it's not a co-op game, is it? I'll cover it. We'll talk. I have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Dragon's Dogma right now still playing. Yeah, yeah. There's just been somebody wrote it in a comment in yesterday's video. It's just every game that's come out this year is long. Is long. Persona 3 is like 80 hours. Infinite Wealth is like 60 hours. Final Fantasy is like 60 hours. Helldivers is a multiplayer game. Why am I forgetting so many? I mean, even Banisher's Ghost of New Eden is like a 20+ hour game if you do everything. Dragon's Dogma is a massive game. Rise of the Ronin is a 40, 50 hour game. Like, every game has been long, you know? Man. And Stellar Blade will actually be one of the shorter ones. I just think that's because that's just how it went. When games take, here's the actual reason. When games take 5 to 6 years to make and they're on staggered start schedules and they get canceled and they get restarted and so the dates shift, you're like, if you just think about the math, right? And this, I'm not saying this as like insulting. I'm just like, literally think about every game, say, takes 5 years from like these 10 studios. They might all start at a different year. Some of them might start in the same year. Some of them might be delayed. Some of them might be canceled mid go and they have to restart. Eventually, you might get a year, maybe only one, where no games come out, and that's this year. That's literally what's happened. You know what I mean? And it's not like every game, like Final Fantasy made it this year, Silent Hill made it this year, Helldivers, but none of those are their own games, right? You think of Ghost, and you think of Horizon and God of War and all these different Ben's game and Blue Point's game. And you are going to probably have a year at some point. It could be a 5-year stretch where you have at least 1 or 2 games every year. But that 6th year, you might have 0. You know what I mean? Like that is bound to happen eventually. So I don't think much of it. Honestly, I don't. Did you see the Dune in art 6-scale figures? No. Dune in art 6-scale figure. I saw the popcorn bucket. Is that right? Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. I have a wow, that's pretty lifelike. You know, I kind of want a Tifa one. Don't tell my wife. I want a Tifa one for Final Fantasy. I have a General Grievous one that you have to like build. Like there's 5,000 freaking pieces and you have to put it together. So I'm decently into that kind of stuff. I mean, I literally have one, but I like it. You know, that's pretty cool though. Yep, 2020. Okay, I knew it because I remember it was during that year. You had Final Fantasy, Animal Crossing, Doom, Predator. Those were some of the spring games, and then you waited. I think Like a Dragon, Yakuza Like a Dragon was also there, and then the fall was Watch Dogs. So I remember that. Ah, man, 16 months. Well, I appreciate you being here for those 16 months, and you will get it. You will get it. It did look insane. It did look insane. Yeah. Yeah. I try to cover it all. And and DJ here, and there's one other. Who's the other one, DJ? There was you, and wasn't there like one other person that always asked me about Crimson Desert? I don't know who the other person, I forget. But I remember, like, we finally watched it. Did I watch it even live, like on the stream? I remember, we made a video and we talked about it. And then just like a few weeks later, it was freaking delayed. Like, man, it's rough. It's rough. We can't catch a break. Yep. I think Dragon Age like sneaks in. I think Dragon Age will be like December. Inquisition was December, so I think that's what they're going to try to do. And Inquisition turns 10 years old, by the way, this year as well. I know all these dates are just floating in my head. I thought there he said, yeah. Yep. Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Amy Henning's game? Hopefully soon. Well, it comes out next year, so Game Awards at the latest, I would say. I honestly, before the end of this year. Last year, there were only 2 first-party games. Yeah. Well, Sony doesn't have 2. I mean, they've shut down, the history of Sony and first-party games. They've shut down, 4 or 5 teams in the last, like, 10, 12 years. They've shut down more than they've bought. You think of, like, Bungie, I guess, but they've shut down more than that. So, yeah, I don't know. I just found a dark sector because I went every other Friday to my friend's house to play it. Wasn't the best game, but we had a great time. Swap controller and death kind of game. Nice. Yeah, no, and those games can have a lot of those games can be very powerful, right? Honestly, any game that I rented that I can remember that I rented will always like I rented Layer. Remember Layer? That was a terrible game. And I own it. I bought it because I want to play it because of how bad it was. The dragon game with the what's the word? With the motion, like the controller dictates how you drive the dragon. And I mean, that game is terrible, but I always think of it kind of fondly because I rented it. I think to Alan Wake, and Alan Wake just so happened to be like a masterpiece, right? But I rented Alan Wake. I rented games like Mad World. I rented games like Brutal Legend multiple times. I rented Brutal Legend multiple times. So yeah, any game I rented back then will always be pretty powerful, in my head. I'm trying to think of it. Did I rent the Saw game? I might have the first Saw game. So yeah. I think we see Gear 6 this summer, like the report. No, I think we see it this June. I think they'll show it. And I think they'll show the Marcus Phoenix collection, which will be pretty epic. After Hellblade 2, we're going to have yeah, we really are. Well, to be fair, Elden Ring's DLC is a big deal. It might not be as big of a deal to me as others, so I mean, but Elden Ring's DLC is a big deal. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is definitely a game that could be okay. Oh, Transformers Reactivate is a game that exists too that I always forget about. Another game in the next couple months, Hades 2 is supposed to go into early access somewhere between now and June. So at any point, Hades 2 might come out. Now, is it going to be the full game? No, but it's going to be out there, so that's fun. Ooh. I think we just see a trail. This is like off the tip of my this is just like me thinking on the fly. I think we see the trailer. I think it doesn't give a date. I think at the Ubisoft Forward, they show it a second time or a third time at that point, and they give a date. That's gonna be my prediction. Oh man. Well, sometime I've been told this, and I don't know this for sure, so maybe don't do it, but I have been told like unsubscribing, resubscribing, and hitting the notification thing is like the way to get YouTube to figure itself out. But just subscribe to all three of my channels, and then you'll remember me. If you see if you see a video for Back to the Past, you'll say, "Oh yeah, Alex probably made 500 videos for Podcast Now by now." You know what I mean? If you subscribe to all three, you're bound to remember that I'm around. Phantom Blade Zero is a good one. Yep. Yeah, they did say there'd be a demo this year, didn't they? Yeah, I think that game is going to be somewhat of a quick turnaround. Ghost 2, Wolverine, new Sony Santa Monica, new Naughty Dog IP, KOTOR. I mean, KOTOR does exist, and thank the Lord, but it's definitely not PlayStation's anymore, so that won't happen. And new Uncharted. I would agree with Uncharted. As long as Sony gives a healthy dose of exclusive games, I don't care if they're first or third party. People who only care if they're yeah. I honestly I think believe that, right? Because it's like if there's games exclusive to the console, to a general person, what does it matter who it came from? You know what I mean? I really believe. I don't even know if there's anything more you have to say, right? You see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth come out. It's only on PlayStation. You can probably fool half the people on planet Earth to believe that PlayStation did it when they didn't. They don't know about a contract or a deal with Square Enix. They see it's on PlayStation only. It's a PlayStation game. You know what I mean? Most people don't think beyond that. And that's okay. Now, like, you can get into the weeds and say, well, there's the difference, right, between third part, like Silent Hill and Helldivers and Final Fantasy. There's a difference between that and then the Santa Monica's and Naughty Dog. But to be honest with you, most people don't care at all. It doesn't matter. And I respect that because I think those people are the smarter ones, right? To be able to get too in the weeds about it, most times, not all the time, most times are console warring. Man, thoughts on it? I'm disappointed. I wanted to talk about it. I feel like it'd be kind of tough to talk about it without showing it, and I can't. WB will come for your freaking soul, right? If you show that game, so I can't do that. But no, the game looked great. You can find it online. But yeah, no, that game looked really good. And what became, I do know what became of it, right? Like the fact that it became Middle Earth is actually kind of nuts. So yeah, man, that's true. That's true. Like they're like they're so connected with Stellar Blade, it might as well be their own. You know what I mean? And ultimately it doesn't matter. Like it is on PlayStation, it's a PlayStation game, right? Like I get when we talk about it and we're like more diehards and a lot of the internet does know the internet that watches the videos, the internet that's on Twitter daily. They do know the difference and they will get mad at say someone like me if I get that kind of fact wrong. You know what I mean? But general population that are buying these games, that's buying Stellar Blade, they don't care who it came from. It's only on PlayStation. Oh, it's a PlayStation game. PlayStation might have made it themselves. Well, they didn't, but if you know the behind the scenes, they helped with it. They've partnered with them. All this jazz. They in a way, they have right. So yeah, I absolutely believe that. Well, it's just a small thing. I wish I could. It's too far. Grievous is up there. Next time we do a Hangout live stream, I'll show you him. He's about like this big, like a pen size. No, bigger, probably like this big. Why does a stupid green screen do that? He's pretty big, and Tifa would be about that big, right? It's not like Tifa's like a whole statue, right? Like standing in my. There's no way I'd be able to get away with that one. That's okay. Wicked, what's going on, buddy? Blue Protocol. I've heard of that. Blue Protocol is not. I wouldn't call it on my radar. I can recognize that game too. Let me see. I want to see the cover. Jesus Christ! Why can't I type? Oh, you know what? No. I don't know what I thought that was, but that's not it. Blue Protocol, free to play online action RPG. Oh dear. That's not my style, but I respect you, so I'll write it down. I will write it down. Oh dear. Got to be on the right page or I'm also going to forget. Yeah, I could like type it because I'm advanced, but you know what I also could do is just look at the chat again like afterwards, but I don't do that either. Blue Protocol, Wuthering Waves. Never heard of that one, but I trust you. And Zenless Zone Zero. How many times can you say that fast? Okay, I'll write it all down. Very good. I really believed I gotta be honest, okay, Cash. I believed we already would have gotten it, so I was wrong. I really thought they would have done it by now. Could it come out for the 1 year? No, you know what? I have said this though. Could they do a 1 year Game of the Year edition with the 2 DLCs? Have it come out physically? They could, and that is our only hope right now. You know what I mean? So I would hope for that. I would hope for that. Yeah, we got burned by that pretty bad. And I just kind of want to go on record real fast to state that when that rumor was going around, I was the only one that was so violently saying it's only a rumor. It's only a rumor. Because a lot of people went around with it's fact, it's fact, it's happening. And I really tried to push back on that because I didn't want to believe that the game of my dreams was real when in fact it was not. So do I think it's real? I do not think it's real. I think that was a lie that people pushed a little too hard. What do you think Rise of Hydra be like gameplay? I think it's going to be kind of like Uncharted, third person action adventure, platforming, climbing, things like that, rolling, cap rolling like on a shield. That's what I think it's going to be. And I think no, I think they did talk about the switching characters. I think it's going to be chapter based. I don't know. They might do it like mid mission, mid chapter. I feel like I remember reading though that it's maybe like every chapter is a different character. That could be wrong. Eric. Oh, yeah, I know of that game. Yeah, I know of that. What's your third? I only got this one and the other. Oh no, I don't know what I. You'll have to clarify, buddy. Because at this point it was too long. Oh, ignore those three if you don't like gotcha again. Well, and I've never played. Oh dear, what's the name? What's the big JRPG? Genshin Impact. Never played it. Never played Genshin Impact. Oh, what's my 3? Oh, sorry. So it's Podcast Now. Podcast Now Plus. I made that one back right before in 2020. That's just kind of more of this, right? Like I'll just put extra videos. If they're movie topics, I tend to put them over there. I reviewed the Halo show over there. So that's kind of like it's not really a backup channel. It's just kind of like more. But I'll also do more like conversational video. Like yesterday, I just talked about the year, kind of like this. I just said, hey, the games that have come out. It's been a lot of them, and now it's cooling off. And here's what's coming over the next couple months. So some, kind of sit back and relax video, way more than podcast now. The third channel is Podcast Now Back to the Past, and it's very niche. It's the most niche of all my channels. It's just retrospectives. So I look back at all of these old games, and I've made about 105. I think it's, and I've said this, and I think most people agree, it's my best work. It truly, I put the most effort in. They are long. They're 20, 25, 30-minute videos most of the time. I look at the history of the game. I play the game. I show you the game. I've done like Dragon Ball Z before. So that one, I'm honestly the most proud of that channel. And it's still diverse. Like I'll talk about one type of game one week and then another type of game the other week. But it is the most niche because it's just gaming. There's no movies, no nothing, just games and just old games. And I really love that channel. So it's done well. It's monetized. We got 1,000 subscribers. I did a live stream over there. It's a blast. And I got a very cool thing coming in May, a very cool kind of event that I'm going to start in May, June, July. I'm going to do like a 3-part event, and it's going to be really fun. So if you haven't checked that channel out, give it a watch. Podcast Now is the biggest. It's the most popular, but I believe in my third channel more than my other two. I think that channel is going to overtake them eventually. I truly do believe that. Yeah, well, don't they have like a year, or did I make that up? I think they got a lot of time. It's a gacha game like Genshin. So I got to play Genshin Impact. But I think that game does exist. I don't know if it would be at a Sony show. Maybe, because everything Square Enix is through Sony. So, okay, I'm going to wrap up in just a few. By the way, I'm going to try to we'll rifle through any final thoughts. Let me know in the chat literally right now. We'll go like 5 more minutes and then we'll head off. But I mean, you guys rocked as an audience, so thank you so much. What do you think happened to Jeff last year where Summer Game Fest was his best? But yeah. Well, I think Summer Game Fest is normally like, it's pretty okay. It can sometimes be better. It can sometimes be worse. So I think it'll be fine. Yes. Yeah. Alan Wake 2 is so good, Steven. I covered it. I made like 30 some videos, on Alan Wake 2. I talked about the ending and some of the lore stuff. So, I mean, I love that game so much. Let me know what you think. Come back in a few weeks once you beat it on another live stream and just say, hey, remember me? Alan Wake. And then just tell me what you think about it. Yeah, State of Decay. They gotta show State of Decay 3. It's been 4 years since State of Decay 3. So that's got to happen. The first one was a lot more waves of enemies and you take them out, but it's tough because like, do you think they'd want to wrap up 7 first? But we've heard so many rumors about 9. I think it's possible. I don't think we would get it for a while, but I do. I think Gravity Rush 2 is an amazing, like 9 out of 10 type game. I really believe that. And I really like the first game, played it on Vita, played it remastered. I think that it's a great franchise. It's just so niche that it struggled. It really struggled. Nobody cared about Gravity Rush 2, but I think it told a great story. I think the visuals were awesome. I thought the fighting was good. I thought the world was, the side missions, the side activities in Gravity Rush 2 were really good. I think overall it is a really great game that people just never supported. So I did. I covered it. I made videos, and I would cover it now too. If they made a Gravity Rush 3, I'd be all over that thing. Ooh. Well, you're definitely gonna play as him in part 3, right? Like that's I think that's kind of obvious. Maybe do the same thing for him as you did for Yuffie. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. I think my wife asked me about that too. Like, why couldn't you play as him? Because you could in the original. Yeah. Pragmata. I think we see Pragmata at a Capcom show. Because Capcom will do something, I do believe. See you, Sir Access. Thanks so much for being here as always. Greatly appreciate it. Oh, Titanfall 2. Elite. What's the next game? The the next big game that they release, probably, unless I'm forgetting something. I think 9 and Pragmata might come out roughly around the same time. Then there's Monster Hunter. So, yeah, I think those 3 will come out kind of close, closer than you think. PlayStation will be okay. They'll be okay. In gaming, let me end it with my own thoughts, right? And then we'll kind of end the stream after this. Gaming, you can't make a lot of mistakes. You know what I mean? For better or worse. And it can be a bad thing because there's no it hurts creativity. It hurts trying new things. This kind of innovation that I talk about with the PS3 and 360 era, where they were really pushing it, and I loved it. I love that era because you could try things for cheap, and sometimes they worked. You cannot do that now. So for better or worse, for worse is you just don't get those type of games. But for better, you can't make terrible games nonstop. You can't. I mean, like, you can do terrible things, like Madden can keep doing Ultimate Team for the rest of it, and for some reason, people still support it, but generally, you can't always do bad things, you know what I mean? You can only do so many bad Battlefield games in a row before you freaking kill EA because of it. You can only make so many bad PlayStation exclusive games before you seriously hurt Sony. You can only make so many bad Square Enix games before you really hurt Square Enix and they have to pull back. In fact, Square Enix has done that, right? Square Enix is talking about their new plan where they're, changing things up internally because they can't have this many failures, right? So that is a good thing about the gaming industry where it's tight and you can't make a lot of mistakes. And if you make too many mistakes in a row, you're screwed. So you have to be good. You have to put your best. And I think that's generally why the gaming industry is better off than say Hollywood. Hollywood, for whatever reason, can make years of terrible over and over again. Gaming can't do it. Lost Soul aside. Why does that game sound so familiar? Let me look it up. It's an upcoming action role-playing. Oh. I remember this. Maybe. Wait, their initial release date 2024. Oh, so it hasn't come out yet. Well, maybe then. Perhaps it does. End of this comment. Yep, end of this comment, end of this show. All right, guys. Now, I appreciate you being here. Like I said, I'll do a video kind of right after this. We'll talk about the Deck 9 situation and all that jazz. Got videos today, videos over the weekend. But thank you. This was a great stream. A lot of you guys showed up, so I really appreciate it. So we'll be back next Friday. I don't know what we'll do. One of these weeks, we'll probably just do Stellar Blade, or maybe even just the week it comes out. So yeah, we'll mix things up. We'll try to keep it exciting, right? But I appreciate you guys being here. Next Friday, we'll be back, same time, same place. All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.